Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. It has been quite a while since I have done one of these. After the election I kind of just pushed away, changed my political views a little bit, so my videos might be getting better. But basically I'm going to be doing a 2024 scenario. Um, I'm keeping Donald Trump out of this. I don't think he'll run again in 2024. Honestly, I think he'll die before then. So I'm going to put Mike Pence there just because it's either Mike Pence or Nikki Haley, and I feel like the conservative group would rather go with Mike Pence. And then for Democrats, I'm going to go either with Kamala Harris or Joe Biden because Joe Biden has not completely put running for re-election out the window, but I think once the time gets there, he'll realize that he is way too old for this job. But basically, all of the gray you can see on my map are basically states that could be competitive, probably less than 15 percentage points, which is why I don't know why I put New Hampshire as blue. But and I should honestly take New Mexico off of there. But Colorado will be safe. Virginia will be. Oregon, Washington. You know, all of these states will generally be in the safe realm, like for sure. But yeah, I will basically be going around characterizing these as if these two were in an election against each other. But yeah, let's get started. So starting off with Mike Pence, starting off with some of the not surprising states, I would go with Montana being likely, Kansas, Missouri, Indiana, or actually Indiana would be safe. That's his home state. South Carolina, I could see it being a lean, but I'm gonna put it as likely. Same thing with Alaska. With Kamala Harris being on the ballot, I do not see it changing that much, and I see Maine second district shifting more to the right, going into the likely column, which I actually believe it was this year, but it wasn't that far in it. And same thing with Iowa and Ohio. I do not see the Democrats being very competitive in 2024, as those two states are pretty close to safe, honestly. I mean, 8-point wins by Donald Trump in both of these states in 2020, and considering that it was a quote unquote Democratic wave year, that is very surprising. So, if anything, I think that the base will grow from now to 2024. As for Kamala Harris, Illinois, it was a likely this election year, aka 2020, and I think it will be in 2024. I mean, it's gonna start getting competitive again like it once was, but I don't see it being very much in the picture for Republicans. I do not see them making a play for it. And actually, I should be on the 2024 map, but we'll just stay on this one for now, just because I'm not going to redo all of this. But and then the other state I would relatively say are safe are New Hampshire and New Mexico, both states that I don't think the Republicans have a very good shot in. You could also say that Minnesota will stay likely like it was this year. It was around 7 percentage points of a win for Democrats, and I could definitely see it being in the Democratic column. But with Kamala Harris on the ticket, I just really don't see it. Alrighty, and now we are going over to the drastic swing states. Alrighty, so then I'm going to start with the South and then move up to the Rust Belt region. So I'll start off with the leans down here. I would consider Florida a lean, Texas a lean, and that's about it, because Texas, yeah, from 2016 it swung about 3 percentage points, which really isn't that much. If it does do that again, it will be in the lean margin. And I know immigration, demographic changes are implementing a lot on Democrats possibly having more success there, which I think they will. I just don't think it will be to that extent in 2024, if you can catch my drift. I think that the Republicans will win it by around 3 percentage points, and then in 2028, depending on who Democrats put on the ballot, I could definitely see Texas going over to the Democratic column. I mean, obviously, it's not impossible, but I don't see it happening. In terms of who it will vote for, I would put that in likely, but in terms of margin, I will keep it in lean. Same thing with Florida. Democrats are just losing it in Florida. Don't see anything happening good for the Democrats in Florida anytime soon. But I do in Nevada and in Georgia. Georgia, obviously a likely shift, shifted by over 5 percentage points in the Democrats' favor, which is obviously amazing. I don't see it being that big of a victory, but if it's swinging as much as it is, and I mean, both of the senators from Georgia won their seats by lean margins. I believe Ossoff won his by 1.2, Warnock by a little over 2 percentage points. So, I mean, I could definitely see this if it's shifting more Democrat, which I think it will. I for sure see it being a lean state. And now for North Carolina and Arizona. If we're talking 2024, Kamala Harris versus Mike Pence. Basically, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden rematching Donald Trump and Mike Pence. If COVID is relatively gone and it's more under control by the time of 2024, I see Arizona being a tilt for Mike Pence, and same thing with North Carolina. Arizona, yeah, the Democrats had a good run this year, but with people like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris on the ticket, they're just not as appealing as people like Kyrsten Sinema, as people like Mark Kelly. I mean, they're just not as appealing to Democrats as the two senators that are there right now. And honestly, with just Harris on the ticket, I see them doing a lot worse in Arizona with her previous past as a public prosecutor. Alrighty, and now the Rust Belt. This is where the Democrats could win or lose. I mean, very close this year, considering that it was a quote-unquote Democratic blue wave. Very close. But when it comes to up here, there can only be one winner. And the first lean state, every single one of them will be tilt otherwise, is Minnesota. Minnesota is drastically moving towards the Democratic Party. I think that they will lose some support in 2024. But as of like counties from 2016, this place got a lot more red. But in general, in like I think like this area ish, like the Minneapolis St. Paul region, became a lot more Democrat. Joe Biden won it by a little over 7 percentage points. But with Kamala Harris on the ticket, I could see that more being 3 or 4 percentage points. I think that it will eventually be a Walter Mondale state. For the Democrats, it'll be relatively safe. But yeah, that's what I see happening in 2024 with Minnesota. And I know this is way too early to make a prediction, but I'm going off of what I personally believe. As for the biggest margin of victory in this little Rust Belt, I would have to go for that with Wisconsin being, or actually, you know what? There are two leans. I would see Wisconsin being a lean for Mike Pence. Wisconsin, in general, is just turning a lot more Republican. And if it was not for COVID, Donald Trump would have won Michigan. He would have won Wisconsin. He would have won Pennsylvania. He would have won Georgia. He probably could have won Nevada. He would have won Arizona. Yeah, he would have blown it out if COVID wasn't a thing. He probably would have grown on his 2016 margin. And with COVID not really being a thing, I see the Rust Belt going a lot more in the Republicans' favor. That's why I do think Minnesota will shift even more Democrat. It's one of those states that's like, ooh, yeah, Democrat. Ooh, I kind of want Donald Trump this year. They try him out, they spit him out, they don't like him. I think Democrats will regain control there, like when Obama was running. Win it by probably double digits soon. And as for these last two states, this is where one of them wins or loses. And I personally think that Michigan would go to the Democrats. I mean, I am from Michigan. Democrats tried very hard to help Joe Biden win. I could see them fighting probably even larger for Kamala Harris because they know they don't want to come back to these times Donald Trump. And I'm not saying Donald Trump's the worst president in history, but to Democrats, he is. To Democrats, he is like the worst president in history. I mean, I think he's one of the worst. Andrew Jackson is obviously the worst. But Democrats fight hard in Michigan. They really do. And in midterms, it is a blowout for Democrats. And I could see them winning it by over a percentage point, but as of right now, I see them winning it by about 0.4, 0.5 percentage points. Pennsylvania. The last state that will decide it all. I mean, Joe Biden had to really campaign here. I mean, he won it by over a percentage point. Whoop-de-doo. Those supporters will not stay in 2024. I'm sorry. This is, I believe, like the first prediction where I've actually had a Republican winning. I don't know if it's my change in views or what, but I do think Pennsylvania will go red. I mean, Democrats are just losing it there. I mean, they were winning it by double digits in 2008, and I believe 2012, correct me if I'm wrong. Then 2016 was just a steep drop off. And then if it were not for COVID, Donald Trump would have won Pennsylvania, probably by a lean margin too. And all of these supporters that are going over to the Democrats because of COVID, I could see some of them staying, but a lot of them won't, especially if COVID is for the most part gone by 2024. And yeah, I don't see Kamala Harris winning. I mean, with a rough past, I could honestly see Mike Pence winning by more. I could see him winning Michigan, Georgia, and possibly Nevada, possibly Minnesota. Honestly, any of these lean or tilt states I could see going the other way. But I really don't see that much of a scenario where Democrats can win in 2024 if Kamala Harris is on the ballot. If they put somebody like Pete Buttigieg on the ballot, I could definitely see them winning. Honestly, I would probably say that they would win. They would probably win Pennsylvania. They would probably win Arizona. They would probably fight hard in North Carolina. They might lose it, but I think that they could win it. They could probably win Nevada by more. They could probably win Georgia by more. But Kamala Harris just does not have that appeal, especially with her such rough past. And I forgot to characterize Little Maine's or Nebraska's second district. I would characterize that for Mike Pence by a tilt margin, just because of how much Joe Biden won it this year, and then Kamala Harris. But anyway, what I was ranting about. I just do not see Kamala Harris's appeal. I mean, even when I was like a hardcore Democrat, I'm not even gonna lie. I was a socialist at one point. I know. I suck. I hate myself for it too. But Kamala Harris just did not appeal to me. Back when I was a socialist, back when I was a Democrat, I've always hated Kamala Harris. Like, when I was waiting for Joe Biden's VP pick, when I really wanted him to beat Donald Trump, and I still do. I still prefer Joe Biden over Donald Trump. I was like, please don't be Harris. Please don't be Harris. And then the next day, the news comes up. Boom, it's Kamala Harris. And I'm just thinking to myself, wow, Joe Biden really screwed up. And it almost screwed him over. Kamala Harris being his VP pick honestly turned a lot of people to the Republican side just because they believed that Kamala Harris was a socialist. They believed that she would ruin this country, and she did have a very jagged past, as did Joe Biden, which is why I preferred somebody like Susan Rice, Tammy Duckworth, somebody like that. At the time I preferred Elizabeth Warren. But yeah, that'll be about all for this video today. This is basically just what I think will happen in 2024. It could definitely go one way or another, but this is personally how I see 2024 going as of now. If COVID is irrelevant by then, I could definitely see this happening. But that is all for